Now, it could not be more black and white what you see right in front of you over here. This is a hypothetical. If Apple would have made an iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max in a black color. This is the black color that never came true, that never came to be. And this phone is not real. And we will see what the difference is between a $50 iPhone and a $1,250 iPhone. So in front of me over here, we have two phones. This is a fake black iPhone 17 Pro Max. And as you can see, there were lots of rumors that there's going to be a black version of this. So in China, they started manufacturing this. Now, obviously, this photo is not real, but they printed it on the box. They did the black iPhone with the black logo and everything. They made it up. iPhone 17 Pro Max, designed by Apple in California. You have all the details. This is a 1 terabyte version of iPhone 16 Pro Max. Haha, you have iPhone 16 Pro Max information over here. But over here you have iPhone 17 Pro Max. Now, on the real one, if you see the photo, you can see that there's a little shadow over here. This is embossed, so you can actually feel the cameras over here. You can feel the whole device. White iPhone, white Apple logo, and here you can see iPhone 17 Pro Max, but it doesn't say the storage anywhere. So that is a big giveaway if you're looking at the box. There is not really much information about the storage size of this. Or actually, no, here, 256 gigabytes. Great, let's open this and let's see what the experience is like. There you have it. You have a black iPhone and a silver iPhone or a white iPhone. This is not real. This is the black version. And this is the real one. This is the silver version. Unboxing experience is very, very similar. So you have the USB-C cables. Both are just standard USB-C cables, and you have the SIM card ejector tool. These are international versions, so these still have, as you can see, the real one still has a SIM card slot over here. Now, if I put this aside, mine is, this is a Chinese version, the black one. It came with this paper as an iPhone, and the original one comes with a lot more paperwork, including this energy thing that is compulsory in the EU. And here you go in different languages, iPhone. Great, thank you very much for all that information. Apart from that, there's nothing else in the box. So the Chinese don't add docks, they don't add cases, they don't do anything. They want to keep it as authentic as possible. So here we are. Let's do the peel, but before we do the peel, let's examine. Over here, you see on the fake one, it's super dark, the printing. So this is the camera control, power button, mute switch, or basically the, the action button, volume up, volume down, and it has a little charger symbol. It doesn't have any text over here. The real one, very, very light printing. You can barely see it on camera. Also the same images. You have Apple Inc., one Apple Parkway, Cupertino, and you have the charging symbol. Now, the fake one has the cutout too. Let's examine the phones. Let me take this off. That was not a satisfying peel at all. Let's look at the real one. That was a much better peel. Now, you might realize that this phone is on. Yes, I already set it up, but that's not the point. This is one of the main things that you need to look at when you're buying an iPhone. When you're buying online and you feel it a little bit shady, is this one doesn't have always on display. This one does. So the display is basically always on. With the fake one, you need to push the button and that's when it turns on. But to be honest, they did a pretty good job on copying the operating system. But before we go to that, let's look at the buttons. As you can see, the buttons are exactly in the same spot, except for the SIM card slot. It's in a different position. The original one has it down here. This one has it up there. Now, on the other side, the buttons are again on the same side, in the same location. The camera plateau, yeah, they pretty much nailed that too. And in the original one, this band, this is the antenna, this goes around the camera plateau You can see it a little bit over here that it's a bit gray. They actually copied this too, and you can see this band that goes around here. So they had pretty good information about this phone well in advance. Now this is also an aluminum unibody, as you can see. It's the same characteristics as this phone. Nothing is added on top, no glass added on top, and you have the 3-camera system. From these 3 cameras, I can guarantee you 2 of them don't work, only 1. Now, if we look at the screen, this is 120 Hertz LTPO display, which can go up to 3000 nits. This one, while it is somewhat bright, not super bright. And one thing you can immediately realize is the chin of the phone. And this phone has a huge chin. You see? Because this is the reason why a lot of people have or are struggling to copy Apple, because they have the OLED, and basically the OLED is folded underneath itself, so it can go down fully to the bottom of the display. That way you get the display fully down here to the bottom. Now, in terms of the operating system, well, let's take a look. I go into this phone. It's a technical marvel what they did with this phone. They copied the icons almost exactly. You look at the photos icon, you look at the camera icon, you look at the clock, the reminders, the app store icon, and everything is copied. So at a quick glance, you look at the phone and it looks real. If you are not trained, your eye is not trained to look at subtle differences like this chin down here, then you're gonna be like, wow, okay, this is a real iPhone in black. I mean, look at this black. Why didn't they do this black? I would have loved this black. And I can actually see the logo on this one. On this one, it's super hard to see. Oh yeah, the logo position is totally in the wrong place. So the original one puts it in the middle of this glass cutout, while the fake one puts it in the middle of the device. And I think this one looks a lot better, not this. I really prefer the logo position on the fake one. Now, if we go into the phone, let's see what's happening here. First of all, if you open, let's start with the cameras. I know you're dying to see the cameras. So the camera, it only goes up to 4 times zoom. And this zoom is like a fake zoom. So you have the 1-time zoom, the 2-time, the 5-time, and then I think you can go more in. Or how do I zoom? I zoom over here. 6. Oh, it's super difficult. Okay, I can zoom in 8 times. But this is digital zoom, because if I cover these 2 cameras, as you can see they are covered, it still works. I go to the 0, 5, 1, 2, and 5, and 0, 5 doesn't do anything from 5, and these 2 cameras are covered. So this is the real camera. These are 2 dummy cameras, basically. They don't really work. So if you're buying an iPhone online, ask the seller, please cover 2 cameras and switch between this. Because in the original one, if you want to switch between the cameras, this is what you're gonna realize. So I'm gonna cover the same 2 cameras. First of all, the main camera is this one, okay? Never this one. This is the main camera. Okay, so I'm gonna cover this 2 cameras. So the same cameras as this and this cameras are covered. Now, if I switch between 0, 5, as you can see, you cannot see anything. Then I go 1, you can, because I'm not covering that. 2, okay, still the main camera. 4 is trying to do something from the main camera. And 8, well, actually it's kind of weird that I'm covering these 2 lenses and it's actually showing something. Maybe this is the telephoto camera. Interesting. Anyway, you can actually cover different lenses, and that's a very interesting way to test out the camera system, but never working always all the cameras if you're covering 2. No. Now, another thing that I really enjoy in these Chinese knockoffs is the length they went to, really copy everything. So you go into the gallery, and yeah, that's me. And you can see here that it's quite a nice photo. And they copied the new iOS 18 design for the Photos application. Now, I cannot switch, so it's just this. It works perfectly. This is just there for, I don't know, fakery. There, you cannot go to the collections. You cannot really search. You cannot do anything. If you want to go into FaceTime, great, go into FaceTime. You want to log in? You cannot. If you want to go into the calendar is pretty similar. So September 20 today. You go in and then it just exits. You go to mail. If you go into mail, you see a lot of mail providers that you usually wouldn't see. These are all Chinese mail providers. 163, 126, QQ. These are Chinese mail providers. And because this is a phone from China, that's why, people actually can use this phone. So it is a normal phone that can be activated and used. But it's an Android. So, people there use these kind of email hosting services. That's why they need it on this phone as well. If I go into Apple TV, let's see what it does. It basically just takes you to videos, and it says no videos. If I go into podcasts, let's see what it does. It goes immediately to YouTube. That's hilarious. That's freaking hilarious. Then you go into the App Store, and the weird thing is that they did a copy of the App Store. Now, it's the old version of the App Store, so if you look at the new App Store, the whole menu and everything here is different now. But hey, they went and they did it and they tried, and hats off to them. They really put the effort in this. If I go into Maps, of course it opens Google Maps. Now, obviously not. In the real one you have Apple Maps. That's why it's Apple Maps. You're never gonna open Google Maps over here. Wallet. Absolutely nothing in Wallet. You cannot really add anything. You say add a card, nothing happens. It's just there for show. If I go into settings, let's go into settings. Let's go into general and we go into about. Here you see the software is iOS 18.0. That's not true because they're copying iOS 26 and you cannot even really click on anything. Then the model is iPhone 17 Pro Max, and it says it has a terabyte of storage, but in reality it has probably 128 gigabytes of storage. Here we go to the storage, uses 64 gigabytes. I don't know for what from the 1 terabytes, but this is not 1 terabytes. This is usually 128 or 256 maximum. Also, a really cool thing, if I go over here, the weather, they kind of did it, but kind of didn't. So it feels like the real weather. Find My obviously doesn't work, so you cannot connect anything. Over here, it basically pulls up a version of Google Maps or maybe their own maps. I'm not really sure. Now, if you want to go into files, that's where you see that this is basically Android. This is, there you go, Android. Data. Here you have all the Android files on this phone. So this is how it works. They actually just skinned an Android. Now, when I opened this phone, it already came pre-installed with WhatsApp, TikTok, Facebook, and in utilities, you have the Play Store. So when have you ever seen an iPhone with a Google Play Store? Let's go in. Yeah, it's gonna let us go in and I can show you everything on the Play Store. The phone is actually in Hungarian, my mother language. But no, I'm not going to log into anything over here. You have Google already set up, so you can search on Google. So this is basically the fake 17 Pro Max. If you are thinking of buying an iPhone and you see a really good deal and you see a color that you haven't really heard of, like the black, and trust me, I would love to have this black for $50. This phone is actually an amazing deal, but it's totally illegal. So I highly recommend you do not get this phone or anything like it. Yeah, it might be cool to take it out, but the moment people realize you have a fake iPhone in your hand, oh my God, you're screwed. You are screwed. They're gonna make fun of you. They're gonna joke about you, and it's kind of embarrassing. So iPhone 17 Pro Max kind of works, kind of doesn't work. The black color looks awesome. I'm super sad they didn't do the black color, but I'm actually really happy with my white iPhone 17 Pro Max.